Notes from Greenelsh, number 276. Receive to give. Like many people, my wife and I set aside money each month in order to help others in need. We invest it in a variety of ways to meet physical, social, emotional, and spiritual needs. Sometimes we put it toward humanitarian aid in response to disaster, war, persecution, or forced migration. It can help with transportation, housing, food, clothing, education, or healthcare. Sometimes we put it toward an animal, seed, or a sewing machine to enable people to start a subsistence micro-business. We help people near us, like my students, co-workers, local families, or even strangers in our community. Other times, we assist people farther away. For the distant aid, we don't always hear back, but sometimes we do get a report on the difference our support and that of others has made. This week, we received an encouraging report from Bible League International about a woman named Lori Jane. I'd like to briefly relay her story, which spotlights important truths about giving and receiving. Made for more. Lori Jane lives in the Philippines and was born without a lower right leg and foot. Although she met with doctors, she was refused a prosthetic leg, so she travels the rugged, muddy hill country of her small town with a crutch. Growing up, Lori Jane's home life was also challenging. Her mother left when she was a child, and her father was a drunkard who opposed God. He didn't allow Lori Jane to read the Bible she'd been given. Lori Jane also got bullied for her disability. She wondered if there was a God, and if so, why was her life this way? Her despair deepened to the point that she attempted suicide 4 different times. But God had greater plans for her and saved her each time. Then, in high school, Lori Jane surrendered her life to God. She gave him all her hatred, scars, trauma, and self-pity, and asked him for a new heart, a new mind, and for his spirit, so she could see the good in her life. God changed her from the inside out, so she no longer identified as a victim, but as a victorious child of her loving Heavenly Father. God led Lori Jane to get training and then to start teaching children and families in her community about God. Today, she leads over 50 Bible studies in homes, prison, and a hospital 6 days a week. People of all ages are inspired by her perseverance, enthusiasm, and faith. Her disability doesn't stop her from helping others. God hasn't healed her leg, but more importantly, He has healed her soul. She still gets ridiculed by some people, but instead of letting it tear her down, she uses it as a chance to share that God has perfect love and purpose for imperfect people, which they can experience if they just trust and obey Him. Lessons learned. Lori Jane's story touched my heart. I appreciate her love for God and others, and I admire her dedication and joyful service amidst her trials. Here are 3 truths from her experience which encouraged me. Hopefully, they'll encourage you also. First, God values you and wants to work with you and through you. Your circumstances, appearance, or abilities don't define you. Neither do they determine your worth as a person. The fact that God made you and loves you is what defines you and gives you a priceless value. He sent Jesus, God the Son, to become a man, to show you how to know God, to die the death you deserve for your wrongdoing, and to rise again to defeat death and sin. Anyone who trusts in Jesus can be restored of their brokenness and enjoy abundant, everlasting life with God. Then, as you receive from God, you are able to give in ways you never could on your own. As a part of God's royal family, you have an infinite source of blessings to offer others. Second, God is able and willing to change your life for good. God sees you and knows you intimately. As you trust Him to save you, He shares His life with you. When you trust Him, He will forgive your sin, empower you to live rightly, heal you of the trauma others have inflicted, and deliver you through the difficulties you face in this fallen world of broken people. In fact, God promises to work all things together for good for those who love Him and are called according to His purpose. God never fails in fulfilling His promises. Third, God's glorious plan for you and others unfolds as you obey and give. Even though God didn't heal Lori Jane's leg, He is using her condition to draw her closer to Himself, to make His power known in more significant ways, and to inspire others in faith. Your abilities don't make you a candidate for God's work. Your humble reliance on Him and your loyal obedience do. Trust and obey God and leave the results to Him. God multiplies the impact of all that you give back to Him. Instead of serving yourself or seeking fulfillment in pursuits, people, or products, find your greatest pleasure in pleasing God and serving others. In conclusion, although my wife and I helped provide Lori Jane with Bible training, God is the one who made all the difference in her life and in the people she is ministering to. We just have the opportunity and blessing of being a part of what He is doing. You can too. By faith, receive the unfathomable riches God has given you in Jesus. Then pass those on to others. Anytime you join God by faith in His work of giving, in His ministry of reconciliation, He changes you for the better. He transforms you into the likeness of Jesus. So trust and obey Him. There is no better place you can be than with Jesus, becoming like Him and doing what He does. The journey of giving will be difficult and costly at times as you share your talents, treasure, and time. But as God enables you, lay down your life for others, and your soul will be satisfied. You will become all God designed you to be. So like Lori Jane, let God's love change you and overflow from you to others.